Hello and welcome to my Let's Play of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. This is the first time I've really recorded myself doing anything, aside from the test recordings I've been making over the last couple days. So prepare for lack of quality and professionalism. Um, the goal, I have a couple goals for this playthrough. First of all, in terms of recording, my goal is really to just kind of like, see what I think about it, whether it's something I want to do in general, and sort of get used to the increased difficulty of playing while also providing commentary. This partially comes out of something that Meng said in his Meng's Myths video, where he had a myth of Meng's is bad at Fire Emblem, and he kind of said that, look, if you think I'm, bad at Fire Emblem, try playing while providing insightful commentary and see, like how difficult it is, because most people either will provide insightful commentary or, will play the game well, but not both, or at least not both at the same time. So maybe you kind of like comment for a while and then play the game for comment for a while. Obviously, I'm not playing the game right now, so that's already kind of demonstrating his point, but I wanted to give it a shot. Beyond that, my goal here. So I just completed a playthrough of Path of Radiance on Japanese Maniac Mode, which I did not record, and imported the data. I had to do a little like hex editing stuff to get the Radiant Dawn to recognize like the Japanese file, because I'm playing the English version of Radiant Dawn because I didn't want to do the Japanese version for this because there's really no reason to. And I'm playing on hard mode, if that isn't obvious. But anyway, the point is that, I've played Radiant on hard mode before. I haven't really tried for like an efficiency playthrough before, though, so that's what I'm going to be going for. I'm not looking to do like a low turn count exactly, but like a low-ish turn count. Like I'm going to try to press forward as like kind of aggressively as I can. I don't intend to do an Iron Man, so yeah, I may be restarting. I may be restarting a lot. We'll see how it goes. I have played through the first several chapters a couple times. Well, partially testing recording, and also before I decided to do the recording. So, I'm a lot less likely to be restarting on those first couple chapters, just because I've sort of gotten a sense for those. But I will say that in my initial run-throughs, I did have to, and they are challenging. Even this one, I managed to get Edward killed, like the first time I played it, by like sticking him in range of, I think it was these three guys, and my assumption was like, oh, this guy attacks, the boss can't attack, so it's fine. He can take 2 hits, right? Well, it turns out he took 1 hit, he took another hit, he got into wrath range, he crit this guy, I guess, and then the boss came up and killed him. So, and it turns out that gets you a game over too. So yeah, even the prologue chapter is difficult enough that you can, get yourself killed. Speaking of which, and one of the reasons that it's more likely is because even though, oh, Edward's got a sword, look at all these axe units, like this should be straightforward, right? And it is. I mean, it is straightforward from a strategic standpoint, because there's, you don't have a whole lot of options. You pretty much are going to chip with Micaiah and then Leonardo when he shows up, and then finish off with Edward to try to avoid him taking as much damage. But there's no weapon triangle in Radiant Dawn hard mode, which I think it does make the game harder insofar as I think the player generally does a better job of taking advantage of the weapon triangle. But I do feel like it's kind of missing something to not have it. It's kind of just kind of a staple of the Fire Emblem series, or at least it has been for a while. I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with the decision, but so it goes. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to be, as I said, looking for lower turn counts, trying to hit at the very least the bonus experience thresholds, but hopefully doing better than that. So speaking of bonus experience thresholds, on this chapter it's 10 turns, which is pretty generous. I just guess it's like 5 or 6 turns to clear this, but we'll see. So let's talk about a bit about the units that we start with. So we obviously have Micaiah, who's the Lord character for part 1. Micaiah is a glass cannon who's really only a cannon when she's using the Thani tome, and particularly against obviously armored or cavalry units because they're vulnerable to it. Before she gets Thani, her damage output is not impressive at all. She does have very good magic and resistance growth rates, but everything else is pretty poor in her. I mean, as a level 1, character, her starting stats are nothing special. So I, in the past, have usually ended up leveling her via sacrifice a lot, which has resulted in her having a pretty low light magic level, which I remember giving her the discipline scroll to try to fix that. I don't remember whether it actually matters, whether there's like a high level light tome that she wants to be using at the end of the game, or whether she just uses Thani the whole way through. But I guess we'll see. And that's probably all there is to say about her. I mean, she's, like if I had to give her, a rating as like a combat unit or just like a combat utility unit, it's pretty low, maybe like 2 or 3 stars out of 5 or something. I mean, she does get significantly, well, maybe not significantly, she does get more useful once you can give her, I think it's renewal, whatever it is that like allows her to recover HP per turn that isn't the one that mages can't use, because then she can use sacrifice and like continue to use it without needing to get healed herself. Like, when before that, she using sacrifice is mostly only useful for either consolidating like small wounds into one place to be healed, or for just like transferring damage from the front line to the back line, which is has some use, but it's not like super impactful. All right, so then we've got Edward. So Edward, I was prepared to say, or to assume, that I would not get as much value out of Edward in an efficiency playthrough as I have in the past, and that may still be true. But I'm looking at his growth rates, and for a Myrmidon, he has shockingly good strength growth. He has a 60 strength growth, which I mean, like a lot of Myrmidons will have like 30 or 40. So I mean, that is, like I said, that is really surprising and really good. So in the past, he's been probably after maybe Jill, like my primary target for leveling within the Dawn Brigade. I don't know if that'll still be the case here. I guess we'll see. But I mean, his damage output is definitely good. I mean, it starts out kind of weak. His strength is not great. He's using swords, but with the 60 strength growth, that does explain why I remember it being good. Yeah, I mean, right now he is the frontliner. Next chapter we get Nolan, and Nolan is the frontliner. He's kind of the secondary one. Then you get Soth, and but the maps start to open up, and so you kind of still have to put Edward on the front lines for a while. So we'll see how he does, I guess. All right, let's get going here. So, as I said, the strategy here is pretty straightforward. Oh, I guess I didn't specifically mention this earlier, but I'm going to talk about the specifics of this game, but I'm not going to do story stuff, and I'm not really going to get into explaining the game for people who haven't played it or whatever. So, sorry for that, if that was something that you wanted. But yeah, so you really only have, this, straightforward strategic option, and the main thing that's going to determine how the chapter goes for you is right there, what you just saw, which is, does Edward dodge these hits? As I said, because there's no weapon triangle, his ability to dodge is, significantly worse than it would otherwise be. So, you're probably going to have to take your time a little bit just to make sure that he stays healed. And also Micaiah, so Micaiah can take one hit from these guys. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they've got 11 attack, and she's got 17 bulk, so she can take up to 16 damage. I mean, or 16 attack. So I mean, she can take one hit, but you don't really want to leave her out in front, especially because Edward is going to double all of these guys, and you really want him on the front line doing that. So, actually, it's his speed. He actually doesn't double that guy, or him. Anyway, Edward will not be able, I think, to survive to survive 3 hits. So even though he did dodge one of the attacks, I'm still going to heal him here. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter if he could survive 3 hits because he's not going to have to take a 3rd hit because this guy actually survives. I think, yeah, here comes Leonardo. Though, unfortunately, he's out of range to... Okay, shut up. Unfortunately, he's out of range to actually do anything this turn. One other thing I should mention is, I know, so there is an option in Radiant Dawn to turn off animations. I just find it, like, a little too abrupt. Like, it's kind of hard to see what the hell is going on, so I'm not using it. Anywho, one of the other things about Radiant Dawn hard modes, for whatever reason, I thought it was a good idea to disable your ability to turn on enemy ranges, which is like one of the more egregious examples of artificial difficulty in the series. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. I certainly don't think it's a good idea. I mean, at least with ambush spawns or whatever, you can actually plan around them to an extent. I mean, they're still bullshit, but you have some mitigation for it. I mean, not being able to see ranges is just like a UI irritation. Like, you just have to count manually. Like, it's not difficult, it's just annoying. Like, that is maybe the worst thing about this game, honestly. Nicely done, Edward. That'll speed things up a little bit, hopefully. Alright, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't want to put Edward in the boss's range for the exact reasons that I just talked about in terms of him potentially dying. And we're on turn 5, and although, I don't know, I guess it depends. There's a question of, like, reliability of strategy versus speed. Like, do I want to guarantee that I'm safe and I don't have to restart versus, trying to stretch for the extra turn, because if he does, I guess if he doesn't crit and kill the guy, then, because he's not gonna kill him without a crit, then there's no real difference in being in range of the boss or not, because it's not like they're gonna kill all 3 of these enemies on the next player phase anyway, so I will not advance that far. Actually, I guess he can just use an herb. Alright, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure that these 2 are not in range. 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So Leonardo actually comes with a Draco shield. I guess I should talk about Leonardo. Oh, there it is. Oh, you actually didn't kill him because that's the guy who doesn't double. Huh, I guess it would have been safe. Okay. Well, let's see how Edward levels. Ugh, that's not impressing me at all. So let's talk about Leonardo. Leonardo is really bad. So the first time that I played Path of Radiance, I did like the noob thing. I was playing on easy mode, I think, but it was the first Fire Emblem game I played. But anyway, I did the noob thing and trained up Rolf. And say what you will about him. By the end of the game, he could kill lots of things. He could dodge lots of things. Like, he was good. He wasn't good in the way that more veteran players want him to be. Obviously he's not counterattacking enemies on enemy phase or whatever. But he could get shit done. Leonardo, the first time I played this game, I was doing pretty much the same thing. I was training everybody, and he just never gets good. Like it's sad. Like that even if you put like resources into him, I don't know. Like I guess maybe if you really focus on him, but I could not get him to be good. He starts out with 8 strength, which is actually more than Edward starts out with, and though he doesn't start out with the speed to double the way Edward does, and he's got a 40 strength growth, which is certainly nothing special, and a 35 speed growth, which is really not helping him. I mean, so he's got 75 skill growth, so like okay, he can hit things, but he doesn't do any damage. He's got a 55 res growth. I don't know. It's really unfortunate. Anyway, so he starts with a Draco Shield, which I will probably be giving to Nolan because Nolan has a lot of HP and a lot of, well, not a lot of defense, but enough defense. I mean, he's when Soth shows up, Soth is more of a tank than Nolan, obviously, but Nolan is enough of a tank, and Soth can kind of get shit done anyway. Oh gosh, I guess I can't actually advance on the boss here. Anyway, so obviously. Oh wait, did I just put Leonardo in range of the boss? Okay, there's your proof that Max knows what he's talking about. At least he didn't get doubled. I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway, so Nolan is Nolan is like the tank after Soth, but I mean like Soth doesn't really need. Oh my gosh, I totally cannot take this guy out without Edward either dodging or activating a Wrath crit. Alright, I guess I'll talk about Nolan next chapter. Oh, Jesus. Go, go, go! Yeah! Alright, well... There's your proof that Mangs is right there. Like, I definitely did not think about the fact that I was drawing the boss out with Leonardo. I may have actually saved myself a turn by doing so, but that was not a reliable strategy. Alright, so that was what, 6 turns, I think? And bonus XP threshold, as I said, is 10 turns, so like, plenty underneath that. Alright, I guess I will stop here.